still doing the front page review, and we're moving on to the listen. Oh, no, before we move on, you need to give us the drama of what is happening in Edo State.
That's it. So I must commend the former, the appeal court has affirmed the reinstatement of Philip Shaibu as the Deputy Governor of Edo State. So right now, I will say the Deputy Governor of Edo State, who did not say that their term was running out, but went to court to enforce his rights. So, you know, they had done an impeachment in Edo State where he was removed sometime around April. And the impeachment, according to the High Court under Justice Omotosho, did not follow due process. And so the court ordered his reinstatement. But you saw the governor said they have put a stay to execution, they have killed all those big grammar. Even though I'm a lawyer, let me just pretend I don't understand it. You know, so he had gone again to the appeal court to, you know, to reinforce that judgment from the High Court, and the appeal court reaffirmed that he is still the substantive governor, deputy governor of Edo State. So I'm wondering,
are they going to go to Supreme Court?
Because you know that the governor will soon need these courts. This is our governor that say will not respect the courts and the judgments, will come around to need the courts. Even this Bible today, you always come around to need the courts. So now that you're not enforcing it, we will remind you when you need the judgment of the court and you come and call the court names, we'll remind you that you yourself were abusive of the courts. But, you know, congratulations to Philip Shaibu. His doggedness and resilience has proven well, and I like the fact that he enforced this right. If he didn't, he will lose everything. Blame nobody.
You must fight for justice.
It can set a dangerous precedent.
Moving on to Daily Sun. Major headline, terrorism allegation. NLC president gives police August 29 appointment. Union set for strike. Aero to honor the invitation. Catholic bishops meet over state of the nation. Others, Wike's exit needed for PDP's survival. Clark tells acting chairman. Enugu government to pull down property used for kidnapping in Enugu State. Federal allocation, FAC revenue faces decline as NNPCL redirects 3.4 trillion naira in remittance to fuel subsidy. Now we are, another paper is giving it the right name, according to them. Abia records 13 suspected cases of monkeypox, open treatment center. Federal government set up a 10-man panel. We've taken that story already. And no deal with headsmen. Southeast Monarch insists. So what are we starting with?
Okay, so I have Enugu State government to soon start the demolition of properties and structures, whether private properties, business properties, as far as they are used for kidnapping purposes, they are coming down. Yes. The government, the government source exclusively revealed to Daily Sun that the move is in continuation of the determined effort of this Pete and Baz administration to curb and eradicate crime and criminality within the state. The Enugu State House of Assembly had in November 2026 amended the Criminal Code Law of Enugu State, which was subsequently signed into law by the former governor, Chief Ifeanyi Ugwuanyi, on January 20, 2017. But that particular amendment had not been implemented within the state, which is actually Section 315 of the Criminal Code, Second Amendment Law, Cap 30 Law of Enugu State. Somehow, since 2017, they've not done that. They've not, used that law. But now, this current administration, they are not shying away from doing that. So the law states that they will either demolish the building, and then the buildings can be forfeited by the states. And then the security agents of the state are saying now that they've tried to eradicate the criminal cells and kidnapping cells within the state, especially the one that they do now, where they use the city, where the one that they use Sienna cars and pose as security agents. Then, as if they're arrested, they now act as if they are police people arresting you. Then you will now feel like, okay, we're going to the station. You won't know that they are kidnapping you. So you won't shout, you won't raise alarm. They'll just tell you when we get to the station.
They've eradicated that style, I mean.
Yes, when you get to the station, you can now call your people. But by the time you get there, they've kidnapped you. But now they said they've totally eradicated that within the state. So kudos to that.
I think it's also the demolition threats might work for rented houses that are being used, because if you are a landlord and you see that there's no proper, like the person renting the house is not officially doing anything and people are just inside that place, you would know that if they catch kidnapping in my house, I will forfeit the house, so you take responsibility. Moving on to, you have a story.
Yeah, I have a story still on the topic of demolitions, but this is another angle. This is a report that was actually launched by Hip City Innovation, saying that Nigeria accounts for 20 million housing deficit.
Wow.
So this is something that is really alarming, and the numbers continue to increase. So following the spate of demolitions in the country, which we continue to witness, especially in the FCT and even here in Lagos, a report, according to Hip City Innovation Center, has claimed that Nigeria is still in need of 20 million housing units to bridge the deficit. And so it is now encouraging and, recommending that eviction and demolition should be the last resort of government if temporary accommodations will not be provided for the victims. Now, according to reports in Abuja as of yesterday, the numbers of houses that have been demolished are over 1,000, and even across the country. The low cost of housing units is pegged at 39 million naira by the federal government, and this is out of the reach of ordinary civil servants. He says, and I quote, "We have about 20 million housing deficits in Nigeria, and for every house that we demolish, it means we are sending more Nigerians into hopelessness, destitution, and displacement." There are two sides to this coin. On the one hand, sometimes it can seem as if government is being insensitive when the environmental agencies embark on these demolitions. But on the flip side, we know that Lagos, for instance, taking Lagos as a case study, Lagos has to work. According to reports, in 2050, if we do not do the right thing right now, we're already behind schedule. Yes, but we're going to go undersea. And
you're going to be swimming in Lagos.
There will be no Lagos, literally. So it's important that we do the right thing now. I mean, at great cost to homeowners, property owners, but the right thing has to be done. If your properties are clogging waterways, it has to go down. And I really want to implore government agencies, I know that they're understaffed for the most part, to actually ensure that these agencies that are in charge of going to sites to ensure that buildings that are illegal do not even come up. They don't even see foundation level in the first place. Just so we can be more proactive in our approach to...
All right. So moving on to Nigerian Tribune, major headline, the police versus Aero. This is going to be a showdown. According to the NLC, 54 affiliate unions threaten mass action if, according to the papers. In other news, 21-year-old graduate contracted to act as girlfriend killed by ritualist in Kwara. Very sad story. We're taking it. Lekki community family gives Lagos government 30-day ultimatum over land acquisition. Who has that story? And 5 years after trial, AGF has no record of ex-CJN Onoge's Code of Conduct trial case file. What story are we starting with?
Okay, so let's start with the communities. So communities and families, because this is not fair. Communities and families in Lekki have given the Lagos State government 30-day ultimatum to resolve the dispute and controversy surrounding the compulsory acquisition of their land upon which the free trade zone was built. This is a long time. The communities, which comprise of Eto, Idaso, Idotun, and Falade family, according to their counsel, Olatunji Abayomi, alleged the failure of the state government to compensate landowners from the monies received from the compulsory acquisition of their land, properly settle the communities and keep the agreement it entered into, which is a 2007 Memorandum of Understanding with the communities. This is a long time coming. And what they are actually asking for, is not a lot, because they want to, they're asking for the they're asking for that the interest and welfare of the members of the villages and communities should be properly taken care of and protected. The submission of environmental impact assessment study to the villages and communities for their review and comments, because they should be part of it. This is their community. Do you understand? And in particular, they should ensure that the execution of the Lagos Free Trade Zone social impact assessment study for the benefit of the villages and communities are granted. And then that they also should sit on the boards of the LWIL, which is the Lekki Worldwide Investment Limited. They are not asking for too much, but then you cannot take somebody's land since 2007. This is 2014.
And not
compensate them
appropriately.
Sorry, 2024. That's like,
why is when you claim that the reason why you're actually taking this, government owns lands in Lagos, we know, but you're taking this land because you want to situate infrastructure. Yes, you want infrastructure. So the environmental assessment report that we need to say, okay, what areas will be affected? How do we synergize between ensuring that we can be proactive?
Because they still need to fund, they still need to do a whole lot of things.
The government's overriding interest for the good of the people should actually be for the good of the people. And the people who are going to suffer the loss should be compensated while that is happening. Moving on to our final paper for today, Vanguard. The police has invited Aero. Nima, I was so sure you were going to take this NLC story. You just didn't film, but you went for the dramatic Edo State story.
No,
I'm watching
you know the arrangements we have now. Casting yourself.
In other news, police again failed to arrest protesters, says activist Adeyonju. Cost of governance will be cut by, will cut 10 billion from COP29 expenses. That's from the presidency. Right of weight also threatens Nigeria's telcos 3 years on the throne. The hardest lessons I've learned. Olu of Warri. I'd love to read that article. PFN to Tinubu. Nigerians are hungry, hasten renewed hope agenda. So what are we?
Let me just take the Aero story. So the NLC is, threatening fire and brimstone. We will not be silenced over mass suffering in Nigeria. Direct workers to shut down economy if Aero is arrested. Now, according to the report, the NLC boss, Joe Aero, was invited. He had got an invitation by the police to answer on allegations of criminal conspiracy, terrorism, financing, treasonable felony, subversion, and cybercrime. But the labor movement yesterday has said that it would not be silenced by sponsored harassment, intimidation, attacks, and persecution. The NLC says that it is committed, it remains committed to its opposition to mass suffering and hunger, which is occasioned by the anti-people policies of the federal government, saying that some interest groups are doing everything possible to silence the current leadership of the Congress. It has called on its affiliates to shut down the economy if Aero is actually arrested by the police. I know that he was given this invitation. He says he will show up on Wednesday.
That's today now.
That's today now.
We'll wait and see.
We'll wait and see. Please, let's not shut down the economy yet. Nigerians are hungry. Thank you.